Have you ever wondered how the celebration of Christmas began? Let's take a step back in time to the ancient world long before the birth of Christ. Winter was a harsh season, and people celebrated the winter solstice, rejoicing in the gradual return of the sun's warmth. In Rome, the winter festival of Saturnalia, dedicated to Saturn, the god of agriculture, was a time of merriment and gift-giving which later influenced many Christmas traditions. This festival was a week-long event of lawlessness celebrated with gusto and, dare we say, a touch of wildness. Meanwhile, December 25th, the date we now associate with Christmas, was chosen to coincide with the winter solstice and the Roman holiday of Sol Invictus, dedicated to the unconquered sun. So, the early beginnings of Christmas were more of a pagan celebration that was later adopted by Christians. But as we'll see, the story of Christmas is a tale of continuous evolution and adaptation. How did Christmas evolve in the early Christian era? As Christianity began to spread across the globe, the celebration of Christmas was adopted and integrated into the faith. It was a time for believers to commemorate the birth of their Savior, Jesus Christ. The story of the Nativity, as told in the Gospels of Matthew and Luke, became the focal point of the celebrations. It is a tale of humble beginnings, of a child born in a manger who would grow up to become a figure of salvation for millions. In the early Christian era, Christmas wasn't celebrated with the same pomp and festivity as we know it today. Rather, it was a solemn and sacred occasion marked by prayer and worship. The birth of Jesus was seen as a divine event, a moment of great significance that symbolized hope and redemption for humanity. The decision to celebrate Christmas on December 25th is thought to have been influenced by pagan traditions. Prior to the acceptance of Christianity as the state religion, Romans celebrated the festival of Saturnalia, a week-long period of lawlessness celebrated between December 17th and 25th. During this time, Roman courts were closed, and Roman law dictated that no one could be punished for damaging property or injuring people. The first recorded date of Christmas being celebrated on December 25th was not until the year 336, during the time of the Roman Emperor Constantine, the first Christian Roman emperor. Some believe that choosing this date was a deliberate attempt to Christianize the popular pagan celebrations that were already taking place. However, it wasn't until the reign of Emperor Theodosius, towards the end of the 4th century, that Christmas became an official holiday. From then on, the celebration of Christmas began to gain more prominence within the Christian community. Over time, the religious significance of Christmas deepened, and the birth of Jesus became the central theme of the festival. The nativity scene, the Star of Bethlehem, the three wise men, all these elements became integral parts of the Christmas narrative. Thus, Christmas took on a more religious tone and became a celebration of the birth of Jesus. What was Christmas like during the Middle Ages, you may wonder? Well, let's step back in time to discover the Yuletide traditions of yore. Christmas in the Middle Ages was a prolonged affair, spanning from Christmas Eve to the Epiphany on January 6th. This period, known as the 12 Days of Christmas, was filled with merriment and religious observance. The Epiphany, marking the visit of the three wise men to baby Jesus, was of particular significance. It was a time of gift-giving, mimicking the offerings of the Magi, and a high point in the festive season. Feasting was a prominent feature of medieval Christmas celebrations. Tables groaned under the weight of lavish spreads, featuring everything from roasted boar and goose to pastries and pies. The wealthy indulged in extravagant banquets, while the less fortunate were often treated to alms in the spirit of Christmas generosity. The Middle Ages also saw the introduction of carols into the Christmas tradition. These were not just sung in churches, but echoed through the streets as groups of people, often led by a town crier, went from house to house. This practice, known as wassailing, involved singing carols and wishing good health to the inhabitants in exchange for food, drink, or money. Yet amid the feasting and revelry, the religious aspect of Christmas was not forgotten. Churches held solemn masses and nativity plays were a common sight. The plays, performed in the vernacular, brought the biblical story of Jesus' birth to the masses, reinforcing the message of Christmas as a celebration of Christ's birth. Christmas during the Middle Ages was therefore a blend of solemn religious observance and community celebration. It was a time of joyous feasting, merrymaking, and spiritual reflection, setting many traditions that continue to shape our Christmas celebrations today. The Middle Ages brought a mix of solemnity and merriment to the Christmas celebration. So as you gather around the Christmas tree or sit down for your festive meal, remember the rich history of this beloved holiday. How did our modern Christmas traditions evolve? Well, let's journey back to the Victorian era, a time that profoundly shaped our current Christmas customs. The Victorians were instrumental in popularizing many traditions, such as decorating Christmas trees, which harkens back to Germany but became widespread due to Queen Victoria's German husband, Prince Albert. Then there's the custom of sending Christmas cards, another Victorian innovation that began in England in the mid-19th century. And let's not forget the practice of gift giving, which evolved from the New Year's tradition of exchanging presents to becoming a central part of the Christmas celebration. Literature, too, had a significant impact on shaping our modern Christmas. Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, published in 1843, played a crucial role in redefining the holiday spirit. It promoted the values of kindness, generosity, and goodwill, which remain at the heart of the holiday to this day. Fast forward to the 20th and 21st centuries, Christmas underwent further transformation, primarily due to commercialization. Advertisements, movies, and music have all contributed to creating the quintessential Christmas atmosphere we are familiar with today. The holiday season has become a major economic event, with businesses around the world capitalizing on the festive spirit. And so Christmas has evolved from a pagan festival to a religious celebration to the family-centered holiday we know today. So what have we learned about the history of Christmas? We've traced its roots from ancient Roman winter festivals through the Christian era where it took on religious significance. We've journeyed through the Middle Ages, seeing how traditions evolved, and arrived at today's modern celebrations. With every carol sung, every gift exchanged, every tree lit, we're partaking in a rich tapestry of traditions that span centuries and cultures. As we celebrate Christmas, we are participating in a rich tapestry of traditions that span centuries and cultures.